Good morning. This is the time and place for the Planning Hearing Officer hearing for January 29, 2014. My name is Roger Kiesel, and I will be conducting the hearing as hearing officer. We have one case today, and relevant exhibits are posted on the panels located directly behind me. There is one conditional use permit application on the agenda today. Under the provisions of Title 30, Chapter 30.42 of the Glendale Municipal Code, a conditional use permit shall be granted if four required findings are present. They are: the first, that the proposed use will be consistent with the elements and objectives of the general plan. The second, that the use and its associated structures and facilities will not be detrimental to the public health or safety, the general welfare, or the environment. Third, that the use and facilities will not adversely affect or conflict with adjacent uses or impede development of surrounding property. And finally, that that adequate public and private facilities, parking spaces, and traffic circulation measures are or will be provided for the proposed use. Findings. If the evidence presented in the application at the public hearing meets the criteria just described, then the hearing officer can either approve or impose conditions for approval for the case in question. If the findings of fact are not evident, then the request will be denied. A public notification of this hearing was accomplished by the use of public notices which were mailed to property owners and occupants located within 500 feet of the subject property, physically posted on the site in question, and placed in the local newspaper. The hearing will proceed as follows. First, I'll read the description of the application. The second, I'll read the reports received by other city departments and other letters or communications from interested parties. Next, the case planner will make a brief presentation regarding the case, giving analysis and making a recommendation. The applicant will then be asked to come forward stating both name and address, and will be asked to present the case within a 15-minute time period. Others in support or in opposition to the application and interested parties will be asked to come forward to speak, again clearly stating both name and address within a 3-minute time limit. Finally, the applicant will be given the opportunity to make closing comments in response to testimony given by preceding speakers for 5 minutes. The hearing will then be closed and taken under submission. Decision. After the hearing, the decision will be prepared in writing and will be in the form of a letter sent to the applicant and to all persons who responded to the public notice, either by speaking at the hearing or by submitting written responses, and have provided their name and mailing address. The date of the decision will be the date appearing on the letter. Appeals. Under the appeal provisions of Title 30, Chapter 30.62, the Glendale Municipal Code, the decision may be appealed to the Planning Commission within 15 days of the date of the decision. Anyone wishing to appeal may obtain forms and brochures on the procedures from the Building and Safety Section, Permit Services, located on the same floor of this building. Speaker's card. If you wish to speak, please write your name down and submit it to staff. Okay, let me proceed with the case. We have one case again. Case number, conditional use permit number PCUP 1327671. The address is 215 through 219 North Central Avenue, which is the site of the restaurant. 314 through 322 Salem Street, which is the site of the off-street parking. And 313 through 315 West Wilson Avenue, also the site of the off-site parking. The applicant is Janelle Williams of Williams Land Use Services. The owner is Patricia Novak Trust. And the proposal is a conditional use permit to continue the on-site sales, service, and consumption of alcoholic beverages at an existing full-service restaurant, which is located in the Downtown Specific Plan Central Transitional District, with parking lots that are located in the R1250/PS High Density Residential Parking Structure Overlay Zone. All right, let me see whether other departments had comments, concerns. It looks like police had a number of just their standard conditions for full-service restaurants wanting to serve alcohol. Neighborhood Services doesn't have any existing code enforcement cases on the property currently. And that was it. All right. Ms. Duarte, looks like you're up.
Thank you, Hearing Officer Kiesel. The property is located on the southwest corner of Central Avenue and Salem Street. The lot is approximately 15,500 square feet. Currently, a restaurant is on the property. It's about 13,700 square feet. It also has an outdoor patio, dining area. The applicant is not proposing any changes to the use of the building, parking, or customer service hours. The parking, as you noted, is located off-site across the alley at 314 322 Salem Street and at Wilson Avenue. There are a total of 105 parking spaces provided. A restaurant with the sale of alcohol has been in operation at this location since 1977. Clancy's Crab Broiler, the current applicant, took over operation of the restaurant in 1983 and has been in operation since then. In 2006, Clancy's expanded to include the restaurant next door, which was Noodles at the time. A conditional use permit was approved to allow alcohol beverages sales and service at that time, and it expired, and therefore they're here today. In addition, the project was granted code exceptions for the following: a parking reduction permit to provide less than the required off-site parking, a variance to allow tandem parking spaces with valet service, a parking use permit to provide off-site parking spaces just across the alley. Since then, the downtown specific plan was adopted, and the restaurant was rezoned. The portion of the property was rezoned from C3 Commercial Service Zone to Downtown Specific Plan Transitional District. And as a result, the parking requirements were reduced from 10 spaces per 1,000 square feet of floor area to 5 spaces per 1,000 square feet of floor area. As you noted, the comments were made by the other departments, and the Glendale Police Department did not object to the proposal, although they did submit comments and suggested conditions. Staff concurs with the applicant's arguments, believes the required findings can be made, as noted in the staff report, and recommends approving the conditional use permit request with conditions. That's my presentation, if you have any questions.
Thank you. Why don't we have the applicant come up? That is Ms. Janelle Williams.
Good morning, Mr. Kiesel.
Good morning.
My name is Janelle Williams, Williams Land Use Services, 2418 Honolulu Avenue in Montrose. I will just begin by going through the findings and then answer any questions you may have. The owner of Clancy's, Jeff Williams, is here as well. No relation. My brother from a different mother. Okay. How will the proposed use be consistent with the various elements and objectives of the general plan? The use will be consistent. This establishment is located in the downtown specific plan transition zone, where restaurants may be allowed in agreement with the land use element of the general plan. The use has been found consistent with the general plan and prior conditional use findings for the same establishment, and this is a renewal of conditional use permit for this neighborhood establishment which serves residents, patrons, and employees of local businesses. The existing use as a restaurant and bar, which also has dining, is consistent with all elements of the general plan and the specific plan for the area. Why will the proposed use and its associated structures and facilities not be detrimental to the public health, safety, general welfare, or to the environment? The restaurant and the parking areas have been in operation for several years without any detrimental effects to the public. The sale of alcoholic beverages will continue to be accessory to the primary restaurant use. The area is built out with neighborhood and pedestrian uses throughout the downtown area, and that is intensifying with the new downtown regulations. Clancy's has seen steady and consistent customer loyalty through the years, and the new mixed-use residential developments in the area is expected to generate an influx of patrons for Clancy's. The existing structure and use meet the intent of the zoning ordinance. We have no reason, with proper conditions and city review, we have no reason to expect any detriment to occur as a result of this renewal of conditional use permit. Why will the proposed use and facilities not adversely affect or conflict with adjacent uses or impede the normal development of surrounding property? The continuing service of alcoholic beverages for on-site consumption is a convenience to the local patrons, a natural accompaniment to their cuisine. The continued ability to purchase an alcoholic beverage is anticipated by patrons, and the incidental serving of alcoholic beverages in conjunction with the subject restaurant has not caused any conflicts with surrounding development in the past, is not expected to in the future. And explain how adequate public and private facilities, such as utilities, landscaping, parking spaces, and traffic circulation are provided. Well, we know that all structures and parking, streets, and utilities are existing and are adequate for the existing establishment. The adequacy of the infrastructure will not be affected by this application. There's also street parking in addition to the lots that are dedicated for this use. So we expect no burden on any public infrastructure as a result of this. In addition, we would request a 20-year approval of this conditional use permit. Since there have been no police or neighborhood concerns, the last CUP renewal was a 10-year. We'd like to extend this out if possible.
Okay.
Put it out there.
I know.
In addition to the conditional use permit findings, there are also 5 other findings that are specific to alcoholic beverages. Did you want me to go through those?
No, that's okay, because
Okay.
they're sort of integrated in with the other findings.
Okay.
Not unless you want, if you want to, that's fine.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
It's incorporated into the record.
Yeah.
You have it.
Yep.
Any questions you have for me?
Well, I know that you submitted requests for some changes to the conditions of approval.
Yes, sir.
There are 5 changes that you are requesting. Do you want to go over them?
Sure.
Or
I'll go over them, and then Jeff can tell you from his personal experience what this would mean.
okay.
Condition number 3 would be the trash enclosure. Condition, it would require much more space than the bin takes up right now. doing an enclosure. Would also reduce the ability to maneuver the bin around in the parking lot. The way they have it currently, that process has worked very well for the last 10-plus years without any incident or any problems. And doing a trash enclosure is not just building an enclosure. You have to prepare plans, you have to have engineering, you have to have structural, architectural. It's almost like doing another building.
Right. It says possibly fire sprinklers, plumbing, electrical,
Yes, and Jeff can
environmental review.
speak to that.
Okay.
Because he's actually
Because that seemed like...
gone through that discussion with the city.
Okay.
Okay. Condition number 6. The business is located on 2 separate properties, as you can tell by the plan, and each of those properties is under a unique and distinct separate ownership. Jeff recently raised the concern that if the ownerships would happen to separate during the period of the conditional use permit, we would like the CUP to stay with the larger of the 2 properties, which is the Clancy's lot at 219 North Central. If that should happen, this would be a reduction in floor area and a reduction in the intensity of the use. So we would ask that the condition, since the condition still meets the intent of the condition, but it would offer a little bit of flexibility. And each lot separately has more parking than the code requires. So there wouldn't be any loss of parking.
Okay,
There would
so
be no increase in hours of operation or any changes that would constitute an intensity of use.
let me make sure I understand. Currently, Clancy's is this, and
Correct.
the same owner owns both.
No.
Okay. They're
Currently,
different.
Clancy's is this.
Right.
But each lot is owned separately by 2 separate families.
Okay. But one owner of Clancy's.
One owner of
Okay.
Clancy's. That's this
Okay.
gentleman sitting here.
But the lots
The
are
lots are
owned
owned
separately.
separately.
Okay.
So
what
that-
happens if the part of Clancy's on this lot is
Wishes to separate.
separated out?
That's what we're talking
Okay.
about with this condition.
Okay.
So the smaller of the 2 lots, then it would be incumbent on them to get their own alcoholic beverage permit, get their own AUP or conditional use.
And that
And then,
would be, this is the larger and this is the smaller?
correct.
Okay. And Clancy's would remain up here?
Clancy's would remain up there, and they would get a new ZUC for the reduced floor area.
Right.
But what I'm saying is it would be a reduction in floor area,
Right.
a reduction in use, and a reduction in intensity.
Right, okay.
And that's at 215 North Central? Correct.
That
Or
is
it
219.
That's 219.
That's 219.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions regarding that condition?
No, I don't think so. I think, yeah, I think there's some flexibility there. So.
Thank you. On condition number 10, the California Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control limits alcohol sales to 2 o'clock in the morning. The conditional use permit then should be consistent with the state law so that the restaurant can have some latitude in serving hours in this new downtown district that we have that's encouraging more of a nightlife. And we are expecting an influx of new business with great anticipation, might add. And the ability to serve till 2 o'clock is crucial.
Okay.
Critical.
So, I mean, in this case, you all aren't open until 2 now, but you could, in the future, anticipate staying open until 2, and you want the flexibility and the ability and the flexibility to serve alcohol until 2.
And to be consistent with the state California Alcoholic Beverage Control
Well,
regulations.
I mean, they allow serving up to two. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are compelled to acquire
No,
that.
No,
So, okay,
but that's the request.
yeah.
That would just be on Friday and Saturday, correct?
Well, I'll leave that up
Okay.
to Jeff to answer. And then condition number 15 lumps the term karaoke in with bikini activities, partial clothing events, and such things as that. We've had karaoke. It's been a very popular activity at Clancy's every Friday night since 1983.
Okay.
So we would ask that you strike the word karaoke from that condition.
Do you have the
The entertainment
proper
permit,
approvals
yes,
for that?
Yes.
Okay.
We do have a permit for that.
All right.
And then the final one is condition number 18. And Jeff explained to me, occasionally a patron will come in, order a glass of wine, decide that they love it, and wish to take a bottle home for their personal use at home, unopened. The alcoholic beverage control license that they have allows for this practice, and that we would ask that that condition
Is
be eliminated.
and you may not know this. Is the Type 47 license the standard license for a full service restaurant that serves the range of
Yes,
alcoholic beverages?
It is.
Okay.
And the practice of selling a bottle beer and wine, but not hard liquor. But under that license, you are able to sell beer and wine to go.
Yeah, that's what I read in here, and I had just been under the assumption that
Yeah.
it was just for on site, and that's why I
Email
asked
you
whether
with
that was the
actual
standard.
regulation. Yes. I can
So it is-
email you the privilege under that license if you're interested.
No, I see it here. 47 allows beer, wine, and hard.
Distilled spirits
Yeah.
in the establishment. But as far as taking to go, it restricts it to beer and wine only.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, I see that. Okay.
That's
How
it
often does that occur? Do you know?
rarely, but it does occur.
Okay.
Not rare. I'll ask Jeff to answer that, but I think occasionally it happens. You know,
Okay.
maybe once or twice a month, at least.
Okay. All right. I don't have any other
Okay.
questions
Thank you.
for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Mr. Williams, you can come up.
All right, thank you. Good morning. My name is Jeffrey Williams, 2223 Honolulu Avenue, Montrose, California. 91020 is a zip. And I'm here to speak in regards to some of the conditions that we just went over with Janelle. And she explained it quite well. So if you would like for me to center on any particular one, or you'd like for me to start from the top and work my way down?
Yeah, maybe just start from the top because there were a couple things that she deferred to you. So
Sure. All right. All right. As far as the trash enclosure, we had a trash enclosure for many years up till about a year, just maybe a little over a year ago.
where was it?
Would you like for me to point out on
Sure.
the map?
Yeah.
It was in this area right here. We had a sliding gate that would open and close according to our needs. And this is our back door area of our restaurant and kitchen area. So we had two trash bins there. And the fire department came in and asked us to move them away from the building.
Okay.
So
And that area is still currently used for backdoor and service and all that?
yes.
Okay.
That hasn't changed. They asked us to remove the sliding gate, which also had the slats in it so you couldn't see through it. It was chain link type of construction. So we would have that closed during the day. So as people would come in and out of the parking area, they wouldn't be able to see trash cans. So that's where it has been for many, many years, since actually 1983. And so they asked us to move it out into the parking lot area, which we did, and they asked us to remove the sliding gate. They were afraid the gate could be closed and prevent exiting after hours if someone was locked in the building accidentally. So that was our story on our trash bin area.
Okay. I guess what's preventing you from building a trash enclosure out in the parking lot? Because to me, it seems like plumbing, electrical, environmental review, that's kind of excessive for a trash enclosure.
It can't. I think it is, and I think.
And I don't understand why a trash enclosure would need plumbing.
Well, I've
Maybe go into that a little bit further.
What happens at the building department can vary sometimes, I believe, based on when you go in and ask for certain structures. We have a trash enclosure area that the city has built and maintained for us for a restaurant we have here in the city called Jack's Bar and Grill. It is in the parking lot area behind us. On Orange Street, actually.
Yeah, that's further up on Brand?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
They're enclosed trash with lighting, fire sprinklers. They also have drains. They also have water for plumbing to hose out and that type of thing to take care of, obviously, any messes that are created for that type of situation.
Okay.
So I could see this growing from a chain link fence that just to kind of just hide the trash to something that could be quite expensive.
Okay.
And then require also permission from our current landlord for that property as well. So I started getting a little nervous when I saw that, and it didn't have any boundaries to it. So if there's something that you could put together that would have boundaries that would help, or just take it out altogether, and then I would just promise to put in something that would be affordable, that would take care of the unsightly look of a trash can area. Would like to be able to do that if I could without having to be at the, mercy of the building department on some of these issues.
Okay. All right.
Okay. On number 6 here, let's see. We have. Okay, I think Janelle kind of explained that pretty well. Either from just economic conditions that might come about, or the fact that our lease with our property owner right now, the Patricia Novak, and that I don't have any indication this would happen, but our lease is up in 3 years and has not been renewed yet. If something were to happen and we could not get that renewed, or could not afford the new rental rates, our lease rates, and we would have to back off, it's just another conditional use permit that we'd have to go through.
No, yeah, I think I understand that.
All right. Yeah. Very good. And then the number 10, the condition number 10, regarding 2 a.m. for serving alcohol, well, that really doesn't happen very, very, very often. I just didn't want to have that
Right.
upon me if changing the use. And if it's Friday and Saturday, yes, it could be also a Sunday if it's a 3-day holiday, if it's a St. Patrick's Day, or if it's a Valentine's or something like that, where business happens to go later than normal.
Right.
And we'd like to serve alcohol to 12:30, and we just, we'd like to be able to do it. We between the fact that we'd like to get out of there, we're not a bar as far as trying to stay open late and try to catch the last possible person to have a cocktail in town. We do not do that at Clancy's, but there are festive situations where we might like to have our license be able, and not have any restriction as far as time, and just be able to have that freedom with what the state allows us to do.
Okay. I mean, you're currently not open until 2 in the morning, but you may foresee yourself at some point when the other things that are happening downtown come to fruition that you may. So, okay, I mean, I don't see a problem with the 2 a.m. in downtown. If this restaurant were in Kenneth Village or Montrose or maybe some other places, there may be more of a concern.
Sure.
But
Is the most recent example I can give you is New Year's Eve. We were serving with diners and consuming alcoholic beverages up till about almost 1 o'clock, 12:45, and most everybody was out of the building by 1:15. It was just that kind of event. So that's the reason I'm approaching you on that condition.
okay.
All right. And then as far as condition number 15, karaoke, it's been a form of entertainment for years. It's bounced around from Friday nights to a Monday night to a Saturday night, and we've had different nights of the week based on a lot of times what's happening in the sports world, and we're trying to fill in just another night of the week to try to draw in customers. So,
Okay.
And condition number 18.
Yeah, I'm clear. I'm pretty
We're good
clear
on that?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Excellent. All right. Well, I thank you. very
Anything
much.
else?
No, nothing else. Thank you.
Sure. Is there anybody else that wants to speak on the item? This is the last green card I have. Nope. Okay. All right, then. I'm going to close the public hearing. I will take this case under submission and then render a decision probably the next couple weeks. All right? And then this concludes the planning hearing officer hearing for January 29th. Thanks a lot.